dive in to the story map. Well, actually, before I do, let me say one more thing, which is recognizing, you know, Titti mentioned that this project started as something called the NICE project, which, you know, I thought was a really fun name, the Nooksack Integrated Conservation and Enhancement Project. And this was started at, you know, we kicked this off a couple years ago, a number of years ago. And what that project entailed essentially was a couple of community meetings in Glacier. So we hosted a few public meetings. We had a story map at the time. We accepted comment. I engaged with various organizations a couple times, maybe 2 times. And we, as a Forest Service, sort of collected in a holistic way. The whole North Fork Nooksack watershed was considered. And we looked at what are the range of activities that we can be doing in that whole watershed. So it included vegetation management, which is what this project focuses on. It also included recreation pieces, a few restoration pieces, a few sort of infrastructure pieces. We ended up with probably 20 different ideas for projects. And that's as far as that got. So that was a big picture, what's on the table, what do we need to be thinking about? And that's as far as the NICE project got. And I had been thinking at the time that I really wanted to do a big, comprehensive, holistic analysis, right? This project that we're doing now is an analysis. I wanted to integrate all of those pieces into one analysis document. And, you know, the reality of it is that having a whole bunch of really different projects in one planning document can be confusing, and it can be really time consuming, and might inhibit our ability to do the work on the ground that, frankly, collectively, I think a lot of us really want to see happen, including recreation projects, including some road maintenance projects. I mean, all of these things would all get tangled up in a project that, with more components, the more complex it gets, and the longer it can take. And so we said, you know what, okay, let's take a step back. For the planning purposes, the biggest project that we have is probably this vegetation component, which I will tell you that the vegetation component that we have now is not different than what we offered in the NICE project. And then we can explore doing planning projects for the other components through other means that we have that will make it more efficient and effective to get those done. So we decoupled them, but this is not to say that we're not doing them. They just got decoupled for the purposes of our process so that we don't unintentionally delay our ability to do any of the work, which is what I was fearful of. So I'm going to stop there. Maybe one more thing I'll say is that, you know, I didn't get a lot of feedback from the NICE project. I worked pretty hard to try to get feedback, and I did have a couple of meetings. I wouldn't say it was not an intensive process, and it didn't become a proposal even. It was a sensing of what needed to happen on the landscape and some visioning pieces about what was important. So we took that information and fed it into what's important in this landscape. Part of it's the vegetation management. Other pieces are also on the table right now, including, for instance, the Hannigan Trailhead, which might be a concern for some folks, including some, you know, continuing to look at how we can implement some of our road improvements. All those are on the table.